All right, everybody. Welcome back to Unfiltered. Today, I have something special. I just recently been playing this Ninja Gaiden game, and it is fantastic. It reminds me of the old school slasher fucking video games, the hack 'em up. And I used to play this one. The first, I mean, the first one was like on the NES, the first Ninja Gaiden game, long time ago, 95. And then around like 2004, they released his own version of like the Xbox 3D Ninja Gaiden, which is just something else. When that came out, the graphics on that game were pretty insane. And I played this new one. It was called Ninja Gaiden Black 2.
When was the first Ninja Gaiden that came out? What year was it?
95 on the NES, SNES.
When was the one on Xbox? Was it
I
Ninja
think it
Gaiden
was
3?
2002 or 2004. And that game revolutionized. I asked you, you were working at the mall at the time, and I asked you like to get me the instructions to beat this boss. There was a purple boss. It was a flying demon chick, and she was awful. One of the worst bosses to ever fight. And you went to the game store at the time, and you ripped out like that page, and you brought it home. How to beat that boss, dude? It was fucking funny. Let's see.
I don't know. The book was like, it was like
I told
20
you
or
what
$25.
page. Yeah, what page it's on, and you were like, still.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna buy the whole book.
So you just ripped out the page, which was good. This was the boss.
Yeah.
Total bitch, dude.
What was the guy? That was a guy with like white hair that was like super jacked.
Yeah, that was the guy with the white. He was like the dojo master. You had to beat him in the beginning. Such a fun game, man. Like, it's a game that didn't have to explain much. It just jumped from boss fight to boss fight and like minions in between. It wasn't like a Dark Souls type game. None of this shit where you lose your soul and then you can go back and recover it, so you have like two lives. None of that. Like, you had to level up the hard way, and it was such a difficult game to play. This new one's a lot less difficult, but it's a fun game. They captured how fun games used to be back then.
Do the graphics of this game add anything revolutionary to nowadays, or is it on par with today's graphics?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was actually afraid it wouldn't be on par with today's graphics, but it actually is. The graphics are so good. The gameplay is so fun, and it's just violent. It is so violent. You can cut people's heads, dismember them really quickly. I mean, it's like what an M-rated ninja game should be. And after I played it for like an hour, I was already like, an hour flew by, and I was kind of like wanting to play more.
Is this part of? Is this the same company that does Taken? Or is
No,
it different?
I believe. So this character is actually from Dead or Alive.
Oh, okay.
He's one of those Dead or Alive. He's the ninja from Dead or Alive.
Oh, okay.
So he has his own spin-off, and his actual spin-off game is more popular than the Dead or Alive series. But this game it caught me by surprise. It was free, like it was on Game Pass. It released day one. None of this shit is sponsored, by the way. I just play Game Pass.
And this is called Ninja Gaiden Black.
2. Yeah.
Black 2. When was this released?
I think like 2 days ago.
Wow.
I think like, yeah. And just
The
captured
graphics look
everybody.
amazing.
They were just really good, dude. It's fun as shit. Just a fun hack and slash game, and it doesn't hold your hand either. It's just one of the best games I've played in a while. I tried that new Indiana Jones. I'm not a big, like, when it comes to first person shooters, I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm not gonna play Indiana Jones, dude. Like, it. Not just that, but they make these games too simple nowadays. Like the Indiana Jones game felt like it was so simple. I remember Uncharted used to make like puzzles difficult,
Yeah.
tasks mundane, and at the same time it kept it interesting, you know, because you always had to kill people or put a puzzle together and you got something out of it. This Indiana Jones game was not Uncharted at all, and I went into it expecting. But so I deleted that game like almost after a week. I didn't want to play it. Like I played it like twice. But this game I've been playing it for like the last 2 days, and it's been exciting. Really fun.
As far as the Indiana Jones game, was there a lot of shooting in Indiana Jones? Because there isn't a lot of shooting in the movie.
No. At first, it was like with the whip. It gives you the whip, and then you have the gun as well, and then that you can recreate some scenes from the movie. Like there's a one where this guy is doing this sword dance, trying to come and fight you with a sword, and you just shoot him. Like you can hit him with a shovel. You know, it doesn't want you to go out there running and gunning. You clearly can't do that as Indy. So like sneaking around or using clever things with the whip. I don't know. Just the game seemed very dumbed down for I didn't want to play it. It didn't seem like an exciting game to play. Maybe I'm old school, you know.
They sure advertised it well. I'm surprised they didn't have a better product. But I didn't play it myself, so I can't really judge it.
It looked great. It looked like a brilliant game, and it probably was had I played more. But hard to get into. Wasn't a fan from the beginning. Like I'm a fan of indie, but just going into an Indiana Jones game, they had one before that was from the third person point of view, where you can see the whole body, and then this one it goes to first person, so you just see his hands. It kind of lost me from the trailer, but then playing it for myself didn't help.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. But Ninja Gaiden surprised the hell out of me. Just fun.
Well, what would you rate this game as from a scale of 1 to 10?
It's very arcadey. Doesn't have the open world, but what it does well. So I would say like probably an 8, 8.5, even a 9. But I wouldn't say it's a 10. A 10 is like a masterpiece game. Some of the dialogue I even have to skip because it's kind of boring or whatever, you know.
Do you think this is gonna be a contender, like whenever they do the Game Awards and all that, like, or do you think
it might be because it is like a platformer game? There's like it has a lot of Prince of Persia-esque running on walls. You climb, jump, swing. So there's a lot of like things you have to do like a platformer to get to certain areas. So that I appreciate. It might win one of those, and it's an arcadey feeling game. So I don't think it's gonna win like Game of the Year, but it could win some of those awards, whatever the hell they give these games. You know.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun. Like it has a fun factor. That's what's lacking in a lot of today's games, dude. Like there isn't that much fun. It's mainly story driven or narrative based, and you have to follow the dialogue in the cinematic. And I'm like, can't I just play a game just to play it? That's like fun.
Yeah. I mean, it feels to me like the anticipation for games is not what it used to be.
No.
Like I remember, Red Dead Redemption 3 was a big deal when it came out. Any of the big Rockstar games, Red Dead Redemption 2, but any of the big
I wish three.
Rockstars games, they really take their time and they're advertised well. Call of Duty does a pretty good job whenever they release their game, but it just feels like everybody else is kind of like behind the curve.
Call of Duty, it it they don't even give a shit about like the story element or like the campaign. Though I heard the campaign for this last one was really good. I didn't play it. I just jumped straight into the zombies. I mean, Call of Duty gives you so much content
Mm-hmm.
from just playing the game that you don't really need to focus on anything else. You know, like you can play the multiplayer. They have enough maps there, and then the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, they released a new map, a new zombies map,
Oh, nice.
which is
We gotta play that.
just fucking awesome. I mean, the
I'm all
game
in for
is
that.
like 3 games in one. Call of Duty. I can't see why people shit on the Call of Duty series. You know, like it's one of the fucking coolest experiences. Like anybody who plays video games either plays Fortnite or Call of Duty. And it's like, you know, Call of Duty's more for adults, Fortnite's more for kids. That's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like right now everybody's waiting for like GTA
Yeah.
6 to come out.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about vampire movies, y'all.
Yeah.
We got vampire movies, y'all.
Yeah,
Nosferatu.
the next movie, this movie needed to be brought out. I didn't watch the trailer of Nosferatu. This movie came out Christmas Day. So I watched it. I didn't even put it in my top 10 list for 2024 because technically this is a 2024 movie. But the movie has
Shame
to
on
be talked about. For some reason, this movie hasn't gotten any awards buzz, which I'm surprised. I mean, the costumes in the movie, the settings, the cinematography, everything about the movie is top notch. Like you feel like you're in, England, 1800s. I mean, you just feel like that's the place. But
Is that where it takes place?
yeah, I mean,
England?
it definitely feels like 1800s, 1700s, somewhere in the range. It doesn't say specifically what year it is. It takes place, but it feels like definitely 1800s. And to me, like I said, Robert Eggers, he's a director that has to be talked about. He obviously made The Witch. I like The Witch. It's not a movie that you watch all the time. And the next movie was after The Witch. He did Northman,
Yeah.
and he did The Lighthouse before the Northman. So The Lighthouse, I wasn't a big fan of. I watched it, but like I said, he definitely got awards buzz. The Northman, which I thought the trailer was fantastic. I just thought it was a little boring. I thought it was a little long.
Yeah, the Northman kind of rubbed me the wrong way too, dude. Like, I thought the same thing. I thought we were getting the next Viking film.
The great Viking thing.
Yeah,
film
like
that everybody's
the
waiting.
definitive one. 13th Warrior for me has always been the most definitive Viking film of all time. But the Northman kind of disappointed me. I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the Nicole Kidman character wasn't interesting. I just found her boring in the movie. I didn't think that anybody that looks like that is from that era.
Yeah.
Like Nicole Kidman doesn't look like anybody that would look like in that era. She just didn't belong to that movie.
No.
The guy Klaus Bang, that was the bad guy. He's fantastic. He's a great actor. I think he's German. As far as, but he's really good actor. He played the villain. Ethan Hawke played the father. Willem Dafoe. was in the
was
movie.
like the shaman.
Yeah, the shaman. Anna Taylor-Joy was in the movie. So, but it wasn't an interesting movie. It's not a movie. I thought it's a movie that I'm gonna watch 10 times.
For the cast, you'd think like this cast is
Yeah.
the best cast you could get right now for a
And
film.
Alexander Skarsgård looked. I mean, Alexander Skarsgård looked like $1,000,000. Like he looks like an action star. He definitely was jacked for that movie. He looked the part. He was awesome as a character, but the movie was just not that interesting. There wasn't. To me, I thought it lacked humor in there. There should have been some scenes that were kind of like lighthearted. There should have been some humor. The movie was just dreary and depressing
Yeah.
all the way through it.
And then they added the whole thing with the superpowers and the sword and the fucking skeleton and the it just I get it, you know, there's Viking lore, but it's almost too much.
Yeah,
They almost like too much
Yeah.
with all the bullshit.
But getting into Nosferatu is like, I went with there with no expectations. Like I know what Robert Eggers is about, and I went with there no expectation to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what they gonna add to Nosferatu? Because we've seen this done 10 times.
1,000 times.
We've seen it done at least 10 times in the screen. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Now that's a different movie. Nosferatu and Dracula are two different movies.
I mean, it's basically the same story.
Yeah.
You know, they changed the characters, but it's basically the same story, more or less.
Right.
Now, what could they add to this? Is like, but the seriousness and tone of this movie, for Nosferatu, what Eggers does, he doesn't have any humor, he doesn't have any lightness. He just goes into there and brings you the darkness. And in this movie, I thought this had the right tone for what he's best at. He has to add to a movie. He did it best in this movie, and for me it absolutely works 100%. Bill Skarsgård has to be regarded as the horror movie guy right now. Like you can put him for
Pennywise.
any horror movie in any role, whether he's a good guy, whether he's a bad guy, whether he's a monster. He goes into this 100%. I mean, if I didn't know there was Bill Skarsgård in the movie, I would have never thought that was him who plays Count Orlok. I mean, he just goes into this movie and he transforms into something else. It's the voice, the way it moves, his frame. I mean, the guy is huge. He's like 6'4", 6'5". If I didn't know he was Count Orlok, if they did a Kevin Spacey with him, that they never even put his name in the credits, you never saw him in the trailer, you would never think that's him. Like, he doesn't even look like him. He's in prosthetics the whole time. He towers over everybody in the movie. I mean, the guy is like 6'4", 6'5". And he's like a grown man, because I remember him being like a skinny boy in the movie It. But he's like fully grown. Like, the guy is huge. Like, he's just like his brother. Like, he's definitely gotten in shape. And like I said, but he definitely looks the part. I mean, he's terrifying. The first scene you see him in, when he invites Nicholas Hoult to the castle, the way he looks, the way he moves, is like, this guy is the monster. Like, you would think, oh, Gary Oldman, you know, he's the definitive guy. But like I said, Bill Skarsgård is frightening in this movie. Like,
what did you think of like the makeup that they used on Skarsgård, like how they made the new Nosferatu look? Because the old one had the two iconic teeth. He looked like an older gentleman.
Yeah.
This one looks more grotesque with the flesh, and he has that mustache. The old one didn't really have that. This mustache is legendary. He looked like Usyk.
Yeah, I mean, the guy looked like he's definitely a guy from Romania. I mean, he just looked apart from that area. And like I said, the way they made him look, that the flesh is falling apart. But also, you don't really see him until the end. You don't see him in light. You see shadows, you see this and you see that. You don't really get to see the monster reveal until the end of the movie. And like I said, that also worked for the movie. The tone of the movie actually really, really worked. But it's crazy to me is that you have Bill Skarsgård that was in The Crow, which was one of the worst movies of 2024.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
And then he makes this one that was decent.
yeah,
You know,
like
I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was bad either. I thought like it was complete remake of the original Nosferatu. It
yeah,
wasn't like more or less. I thought the one with Willem Dafoe, what is it, Shadow of the Vampire,
Shadow of Empires,
was
2000 with John Malkovich.
complete reimagining of how that went down. I love the story angle where the actor always came into full makeup because he was. It was
Hmm.
a completely different story to where this one was more or less the Dracula story, the Nosferatu story. Um, with that being said, though, you know, it was done tasteful.
Yes.
It was done tasteful. So, you know, for that, I'm glad they didn't ruin it. They didn't make the vampire, or whimsical, or like they didn't. They
There was
didn't.
no funny. There was no, I'm going to make a joke here and this is going to sound funny. This guy was terrifying the whole time.
Yeah, they
You
didn't
know?
ruin his character.
No.
It was to be taken seriously.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it absolutely worked. The tone of the movie, this was a dark movie, and this guy is gonna bring death.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the plague aspect of the movie that he brings a plague into the city is not just the main characters that suffers. He's gonna make everybody in the city suffer for it. So he literally brings in pandemics, and they never brought that before. At least I don't remember in any of the other
He
movies.
came in, yeah, like I remember in the Gary Oldman flick, he
Yeah.
came in as a werewolf. Like when when he made the trip
Yeah.
to London or wherever,
Right.
to where he was buying his house, he came in as a werewolf in a casket, and he broke out eating people. And that's quite, one of the things I missed about this film is that aspect that, like, I didn't see enough killing, I didn't see enough gore, violence to consider it a horror film. It was creepy, but it wasn't quite like a complete horror film. And that's kind of why I felt let down. But it was a good reimagining of the original Nosferatu film.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, it just worked for this movie. Like the plague aspect of the movie is like you don't see a lot of deaths, but like I said, there's people
Yeah.
just for him. His presence
The plague is killing these
is
people.
killing the people left and right. Like I said, he definitely kills people in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he kills at least five or
Several.
six
Right.
in the movie himself.
And a lot of it is explained that they
Yeah.
died. Everybody's losing people left and right in this film, but they're dying from the plague mainly.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. To me, also the casting was very interesting because you got Aaron Taylor Johnson, you got Bill Skarsgård, and you got Nicholas Hoult. And Nicholas Hoult has had a really really good 2024. He's another guy that's kind of he had those boyish looks before, but he's like fully grown. He's 6'2", 6'3" now, and he looks like a man. Like Aaron Taylor Johnson looks like a man. Bill Skarsgård looks like a man. And so this is like new generation. Like these guys are in their early to mid 30s right now.
Yeah.
And then you got the staples. You got Ralph Ineson and Willem Dafoe, which have been in great horror movies. And funny enough, Willem Dafoe from Shadow of the Vampire definitely plays a Van Helsing type of character in the movie.
Yeah.
That he knows
That was a good
what has
cameo.
happened.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, he has more than a cameo. Like he has a
his
major role,
characters. Yeah, exactly.
in the movie. But like I said, just to bring in that mix into this movie, it really, really worked for me. And like I said, he has to be considered. Like I said, we're gonna do a top 10 list, but this movie has to be one of the best vampire movies, and this is one of the best depictions of
Don't
the
you
Dracula story
don't you wish
put on the
John
screen.
Malkovich would have made a cameo appearance
Sure,
in this movie?
absolutely. Who wouldn't? He's gonna start yelling at everybody for no reason. Yeah,
Like, I think we could have all used more Malkovich in
yeah,
this movie. You know, we got the Willem Dafoe presence. Now we need John Malkovich.
yeah, yeah. The crazy thing about this movie is like he got no buzz at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
He got no nominations for Oscars. I don't know what the fuck Oscars are doing at this point. Like I have no idea what they're looking for. You got shitty movies like Emilia Perez getting nominated and that nobody watched. Movies that nobody watched. This movie is about to break $100 million for a horror movie. Like it's
Yeah.
literally it's breaking $100 million.
And they're not giving any credibility or
No
whatsoever.
credibility at all, and it's a legit director. Like a guy Eggers, he's got nominated before. You got William Dafoe that's got nominated for before. So you got a really really good cast, and I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, this movie should be at the forefront on every category, and just by the looks of it, the way the movie looks, should be nominated because it's beautiful. Like the shadows, the darkness, it just works, man. Like this movie should be bought in 4K. It should be watched in the theaters because the movie just looks fantastic. The sound is fantastic.
Yeah.
And Bill Skarsgård, like, again, I'm gonna say it. This guy should be in action movies. He should be in fucking every kind of role, not just monster movies and horror movies. Like the guy, he looks the part. He's definitely a good actor. He's not just, a guy behind the mask. Like he's really, really good. And he brings it in this movie, and to me, he's the highlight of this movie. Like he's the guy that you're gonna walk away thinking, "Wow, that was him."
Old Bill is the highlight of the movie. But yeah, dude, sound, the backdrop of every scene was pretty well done. If he was to give a design a rating, what would it be?
I mean, to me, I would say cinematography is a 5 out of 5. I would say costume design, it's a 5 out of 5. Casting is a 5 out of 5. I think
Overall rating.
as a movie overall, I would say it's a 4 out of 5. It's not a perfect movie because it's not for everybody,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a 4 out of 5. I had a great time. I watched it twice, and I couldn't believe it. Like I said, I was rewinding the Bill Skarsgård scenes, and I think halfway through it, I started doing impersonations in the mirror myself of this guy. He's just unbelievable in this movie, and I don't know how he did that fucking voice, but that voice is fucking unbelievable. Like the way he sounds and the way he brings everything. You must listen to me. You will obey me. Yeah, I mean, he's just creepy the whole time through the movie, and he just works. I don't know what else to say, but this movie, it's a movie that must be seen. And another thing I wanted to mention is Lily Rose Depp.
Her spastic movement.
Yeah, her
She
movement
was
in the movies,
she
like
was
she's doing
she
exorcism
was
type shit.
fucking she was doing all kinds of spastic crap. She looked like she was having a seizure halfway through the movie. I just said, "Hey, you know what? What's going on with this person? What's she really? What drugs did she get into? What kind of shit do they have around that set that they're letting this bitch around? Because, dude, she's just the whole time, dude. I thought she was having a seizure. I don't understand this new kind of acting
Yeah, yeah.
where you have to twitch around on the ground for an hour.
I mean, she's definitely doing some physical stuff.
She was all right,
you
in all the scenes that she wasn't like twitching around.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of creepy. I guess vampires really do that to people sometimes,
I mean, she's possessed, but she felt to me in duress throughout the whole movie. So she definitely brings a physical aspect to the role, much like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
What about Winona Ryder in the?
No, she wasn't doing it for me.
No,
No,
you're not into the shoplifting.
no.
All right.
That she wasn't bringing it like this. I think Lily Rose did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And
Johnny Depp's daughter, by the way.
Yeah.
Way to go. She banged a vampire. The whole movie was about a guy that was desperately trying to get laid, and then he died. That's the fucking movie. I didn't spoil this.
Yeah.
This was already spoiled in the books. This is what the movie is. It's a guy trying to get laid, and then he dies at the end when he finally gets laid. Like, that's the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tale that's been told. I don't think you haven't seen it like this well done, because this movie felt like $100 million movie. I don't know how much they spent for it, but it definitely felt like $100 million. And like I said, definitely watch it. A big recommendation for this movie as far as being a 2024. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump into